all you see is violence in movies and sex on TV.
But where are those good old-fashioned values on which we used to rely?
Lucky there's a Family Guy. That's right, the old Family Guy program coming your way now. We're excited about it. That's number 9, Mr. Drew Brees. I think it's pronounced Brees. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday. Yeah, you right. Thanks so much for joining us, New Orleans, Crescent City, and beyond. That thing will work up there. I hear it doing something. Oh, maybe now I got it. There she blows. We had to open up the control panel, pull the little stick out, tie a new piece of cheese to the end of it hanging off the string, and hook it back to the little mouse's back, the little setup. And he's off a running again on the treadmill, powering up the equipment over here at the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Yeah, you right, 4 o'clock hour coming your way. Corey Johnson with you. 2 big hours on a Thursday afternoon. In about 15 minutes, New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas will join us on the program. We'll talk about all the, I don't know, is there any good, the bad, and the ugly stuff going on in the city right now? So much going on. NOPD next chief. Is the mayor going to try to sneak in her own selection before the January 1st ordinance, where the council would have to approve that selection goes into effect? Mayor try to sneak that in before the 1st, so there is no council approval. We'll see. Looks like the fix is in. We'll talk to Oliver Thomas about that. Also, 20 cars broken into parking for the Pelicans game last night. 20 more cars broken into Lafayette Street. It's beyond obnoxious. Can you say guardian angels? Can you say guardian angels? We may have to do some citizen guardian angel. There's going to be enough citizens between the age of like 20 and 40 years old with police or military training, ideally. Might know some, what is it, Kavmagram, whatever the hell it is. The Israeli military tactics. Anyway, no, we could use the guardian angels. Some cats and kittens running around with beanies on. I don't know, if you're some moron that's going to go bust into 20 plus cars on Lafayette Street during the Pelicans game, are you going to do it if there's like some guys with beanies all around, you know, just on one corner? There's a few more 2 blocks down. There's a few more you saw when you came into that area of town. You could deploy those guys and girls in and around the dome and the arena. Sadly, it's funny in New Orleans, NOLA coalition, because the people we elect aren't doing their job. They're our elected officials. They represent us, supposed to do the job, but we need the NOLA coalition to push them in the right direction. Same deal here. Have the city, have the NOPD, but there's so much dysfunction in the city and the NOPD that we'd have to have another group hired to handle security. Something has to be done, because something going on at the arena, the Superdome, the Sanger, downtown, lots of people coming from the area, the metro, the region, and parking. You can't come out of that event and your car is broken into. You can't have that. Can't have that. Just ridiculous. By the way, the Pelicans are on fire. They've won 5 straight, 8 out of their last 10. They've got the best record in the Western Conference, 3rd best record in the NBA right now. Yeah, you're right. Zion and company. And no Ingram right now. It's amazing. and McCollum's not playing well at all, which is a good thing because they're winning, and he's going to turn it around. He's fighting and clawing, trying to figure out his way back. He'll find his way back, and he'll be cruising for a month or two playing great ball. So, no, this is amazing, a really deep team. Boy, the NOLA OIG, Office of Inspector General, insanely busy. A blessing, by the way. We need this office to be strong, autonomous, apolitical, a watchdog. This is New Orleans. There's not a lot of stuff that you can hang your hat on city government-wise and go, man, they're really efficiently run. That's a group the rest of the country, other city governments, municipalities, they look towards and say, that's the model we want to follow. It's an incredibly well-run, just lean, efficient department. There's not any of that in New Orleans city government. Nothing. I don't know one department you look at and go, yeah, they got it under control. So an OIG is so important. Someone that just, you know what the OIG is? It's not about criminals. It's about scrutinizing the taxpayer money, how it's being spent, where it's being spent, and the results from that expenditure. Hey, are we getting our dollars worth? And then the OIG will be like, yeah, you should really monitor this, streamline that, have some kind of accounting on this, have some kind of reporting on that. They tell the basic suggestions on how to get it done right. So it is a must in broken, dysfunctional New Orleans. No, the OIG has a letter to the mayor and another letter to the mayor's CAO. One about enforcing short-term rentals and the ordinance that's in effect that the city doesn't enforce at all. And the OIG calls it fuel card controls. I call it fuel card abuse. I'll read both those letters coming up in a little while on the program. The consent decree monitors claim Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson turning over maybe 1 in 20, like 5% of documents requested. Now a federal judge has ordered Hudson to respond to complaints from the federal consent decree monitors. It's mind-blowing. And Hudson's just all excuses, just excuse after excuse after excuse. Nonsense. I wish it was nonsense. Nonsense would be nice. That'd be like graffiti or a neutral ground that's not cut properly. Walgreens shooting in Gentilly, 2 killed, including a 17-year-old girl. Now the Dollar Tree in Gentilly, 4 shot. Crazy. Brittney Griner released by Russia in a prisoner swap. She might be landing in the U.S. for all I know. I know her plane was en route, and that was hours ago, but it is hours and hours from Russia to the United States. Will she stop at one of our allies in Europe first and then beeline to the United States? Anyway, Brittney Griner coming home. Oliver Thomas, New Orleans City Councilman, is going to join us in a second. Lebanon's cafe is so good. Consistent, authentic, fresh, large portions, priced right. Plus outdoor dining on days like this, evenings like this. Lamb chops, shish kebab, all your Middle Eastern sides. They're on Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, where Carrollton Avenue is 1 lane in between Claiborne's and the river bend. You can't miss them with the big green awning. Outdoor dining, indoor dining, to-go orders, authentic Middle Eastern, as good as it gets. Lebanon's Cafe. You won't be disappointed. Lebanon's Cafe in the Carrollton section of Uptown New Orleans. What a great neighborhood. So much going on in that neighborhood. Maple Street, Willow, Oak Street, the River Bend, Carrollton. It's incredible. So much going on. Yeah, had to bring Oliver Thomas on board to discuss it. Too much to discuss, especially the police chief one of the most important appointees in recent memory. Is the mayor going to do it herself or follow best practices, follow the community and what they want? The NOLA coalition, the business community, black, white, old, young, Republican, Democrat. They want a national search. Get the best and brightest. Don't appoint somebody from within just because you want to appoint or anoint somebody from within. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, now with 4 area locations. Canal at Carrollton, on the North Shore and Slidell, in Baton Rouge by the Mall of Louisiana, and now in Metairie, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. The Woodhouse Day Spa.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about fresh local fish like flounder, snapper, and speckled trout, fried, broiled, or grilled. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
River Cities, total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool side. NOLAAC.com, your cool side.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. A little nervous. You want the New Orleans police chief, the next chief, to come from a national search, right? Get the best and brightest. Maybe it's someone from within, but you go nationwide. No, a little nervous because the other day, the press conference yesterday morning, let's go back actually to Tuesday. Sean Ferguson announcing his retirement at the end of the month, December 22nd. The mayor has a press release, and it's all about the chief. And no final paragraph of, now we turn our attention to a nationwide search and finding the best and brightest. Nothing about the next chief. And then she has her state of the city address, and doesn't take any questions from the media. Fausto Picardo's contract extended an extra year to work with the new chief you're bringing in. I mean, if you're bringing in the best and the brightest from around the country, do they want Picardo for a whole year? Yeah, Nick Saban's going to go work somewhere where Brian Kelly's there as well as the co-head coach kind of thing. It just doesn't jive, but I think you want a Picardo if you got somebody that's maybe never been a chief before. Anyway, a lot of things point to the mayor anointing and appointing someone, and this guy and 6 others not being able to voice their opinion on it. Oliver Thomas joins us, New Orleans City Councilman. How you doing, Oliver?
Hey, Corey, man, I'm doing fine, man. Just trying to avoid my 6-year-old's head cold. All these kids stuff going around, man. Trying to be as careful as possible.
Yeah, boy, that's one thing with young kids, huh? You're dropping them off at school, and you obviously want that. But there's one kid in that school that's sick or coughing, and then it just spreads like wildfire. The good thing is they're
back home with them.
They're young, and their immune system, they can handle anything.
That's right.
Unlike us, they have to go lay down for a while.
Right. But other than that, man, blessed, of course, this holiday season is a time for being thankful, missing our loved ones, but also rejoicing in the blessings we do have. So, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, Oliver, in my opinion, the mayor's kind of a wild card. You never really know what she's going to do. Anything's possible. Any clue? Have you talked to the mayor? Any signs that this is going to be done properly and what everyone wants? Or could the mayor be anointing someone tomorrow as the chief?
Man, not at all. Of course, my public comments and interviews as sheriff of criminal justice is, I said there ought to be an intergalactic search as well as from Monticello Street to Dubarel and cut off to Lakeview. Especially given where we are right now.
Yep.
It ought to be a community-driven, law enforcement-driven search where the next police chief is vetted, whoever it is. If it's someone she has in mind or if it's someone from around the country who fits the profile the citizens deserve, who can do the job they need to do. I just think we're in that kind of time.
Yeah, but that kind of time doesn't start till January 1st when the ordinance kicks in. What do you say if the mayor throws that out at you? The time is January 1st.
Well, I'll talk. I do a lot of my work behind the scenes in conversations. Try not to blow too much up publicly. In conversation with some of my colleagues, they would love the opportunity to be able to vet the new chief, but also, the people who are interested in being the chief here, have them talk to community groups and law enforcement groups and let the public kind of get to know them. Of course, we can't stop the mayor from naming an interim or naming someone before the new ordinance kicks in. But to me, I think would be, especially given the challenges she's had with some council members and some folk in the public, if I were advising her, I would say, hey, look, go back, at least let people, even if you have someone in mind, have faith in the fact that the cream will rise to the top. and then give them that experience of being vetted by the public, being vetted by the council, being vetted by other law enforcement folks. So she doesn't have to take my suggestion, but that's my suggestion.
No, it just seems like the realistic, rational, obvious thing to do. Just don't know if that's going to be the case or not. Obviously, the council wants to say on this. You guys want to say. But, Oliver, it's bigger than that. Folks like the NOLA Coalition, that's like a gumbo of the city, they've spoken. But it's even bigger than them. The city itself has spoken, and there's a vote. And it's like north of 60%, which in elections is kind of a blowout. It's basically 2 out of 3 New Orleanians want the council approving the appointments that the mayor gets to make. You guys aren't making the appointment. You just get to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down on that appointment.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's really it's bigger than the council. It's bigger than appointments. It's kind of like the will of the people, And don't forget, when we did the surveillance ordinance and we put together the package for the police, that was me working with Mike Heck, working with the NOLA Coalition, where over almost a couple hundred citizens groups came together, from neighborhood groups to business groups, to say, hey, this is how we want to move forward. And I would think it would serve the next chief as well as the political administration to have their support, or to have them as a foundation, because who the next chief is, it isn't going to be easy.
Nope.
So when there's some tough times, if the community feels like it's involved and the community feels like it's helped make that decision, I think it'll kind of stem the tide to whoever the next chief is, to rallying community support and getting through some of those tough times. That just kind of makes sense to me.
Are you surprised that the mayor or her staff hasn't reached out to you or anyone else on the council?
No, I'm really not. I mean, I get a chance to talk to everybody. If you notice, I've kind of positioned myself to stay out of the public fights, but I am surprised in a way, especially on this decision, that as chair of criminal justice, and not just me, we have some other folk who are pretty level-headed that aren't always looking for a fight. Talk to them too. Look, the one thing I know is that I can make decisions, but my decisions are usually better when I bounce them off of people that I trust, or people who I know has a community interest at heart. I think this is a time for the mayor and for her administration to do that. Can't make her do it, but I think it's what we ought to do.
Were you shocked when Chief Ferguson said he was going to retire in a few weeks?
No, I wasn't. And I've talked to him recently, and he's looking forward to being involved in the community. And I think, like Raphael Goinesh and former Chief Surface said, think about it. And Corey, I had this conversation with him on the morning show once when he remember his first year, it was 129 murders. Other than the time during the 90s, it was the highest per capita reduction in violent crime we had in a long time. Except back then we had 503 people. This time we had 90,000 people. And I asked him, I said, hey man, you're riding high, but with the city of New Orleans, crime is like a roller coaster, and I wasn't trying to make that prediction, but people like you and I, we've been around the city long enough to know we suppress crime, but we've never done a good job of being studied and stopping it from bubbling back up. We've been a murder capital in 5 different eras over the last several years. When people thought it was safe here, we were 6 times more violent than most other places. So it's just kind of ironic that he came in being lauded for reducing crime, reducing the murder rate, having the first or second best academy, following the consent decree, and now here with a depleted force. And I think, like Raphael Goinesh said with the Metropolitan Crime Commission, he came in on a high, but then, man, you had an exodus of officers. You had limited resources. So now the next police chief is coming in with several $1 million more in resources, a technology and surveillance package that will be installed by the time the next police chief gets here, pay raises and bonuses that'll be in place. So that's kind of you couldn't have written like a crazier story about Ferguson coming in and then Ferguson going out.
Yep. This is like the 1 in 15 Saints or the 3 in 13 Ditka Saints. It's going to take a while to rebuild. 158 cops have left the force this year, Oliver. 158. Last night, folks come out of the Pelicans victory, enjoying a great game, the West leading Pels. 20-plus cars broken into in a parking lot on Lafayette Street that's for events like at the Sanger or the Dome or the Arena. Do we need like guardian angels or something out there? Because can't wait on the city to get their you-know-what together.
I know what we need, and I've touted it, and I've been saying it ever since. We need a special unit that is as aggressively tracking the bad guys as they are at tracking and committing crime on us. People forget that during the late 90s, the Surpass-Pennington Plan actually had joint task force.
Isn't that like the Tiger unit that catches a lot of criticism being too aggressive?
It was actually better than the Tiger unit because it was a joint task force that had about 200 or so people on it that fit every profile from carjacking to robberies to violent crime to murder to homicide. And don't remember all of the stops and the checkpoints where they would get all the guns, whether you were coming off the interstate or whether you were driving through the community. I look, whether we got 9 or 900 officers, I actually believe that, first of all, they know who those 4 or 5 groups that are hunting each other. And while we're hunting holiday gifts, they seem to be hunting each other during the holidays.
And we're talking maybe 300 people total.
Less than that. Well, look, guess what, Corey? They're driving around in cars with dark tinted windows that are illegal. They're driving around without license plates and brake tags. They're having Xerox copy brake tags. They're driving around with guns and drugs in their cars. And they're to and fro on their way to do revenge shootings or carjackings. And you and I drive by them every day. We see them. So they go from point A, drive by law enforcement agencies and citizens on the way to committing a caper. And they're obvious to us. I know they're obvious to NOPD and other law enforcement groups. We need joint task force that are actively stopping them, not harassing them, because guess what happens? You know the license plate is illegal. You know they don't have a brake tag. You know the tinted windows are too dark.
Yep.
So you don't have to target them. They're saying, hey,
pull me over. Yeah, they're asking to get pulled over.
Exactly.
Yep. Oliver, always a pleasure. I love having you on the program.
Hey, man, Merry Christmas. God bless you and your family, man.
Yeah, you're right. Right back at you. Thanks, Oliver.
All right, good.
That's Oliver Thomas, New Orleans City Councilman, joining us on the show. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon, 766-9480. Holla.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLA.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLA.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore led us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
These glasses right here, if you're watching on YouTube, on television, if you're listening on the radio, trust me, they're stylish. And they're super high quality, and they're not what you find at like the mall or some franchise store. It's not the Luxottica stuff. It's not the name brands that you think are the name brands that you like. All those name brands you like, it can be high-end stuff. You think you're getting Chanel glasses, like a Chanel purse. You're getting Chanel glasses sold from the Chanel company, those glasses, to Luxottica, and they make the stuff in China, and it's garbage. And you're paying a premium price because it says Chanel, and it's just not good stuff. There's a lot of eyewear, mostly at strip malls and at franchise locations, and it's just all this Chinese-produced garbage from this kind of mafia company, Luxottica. Google them and find out yourself about Luxottica and the problems and the mafia connection and made in China and buying up all these eyewear companies and just making a generic product and buying up a lot of Sears Optical, Sunglass Hut, Target Optical, all owned by this one group selling you their junk. If you want glasses that everyone else has, go to the mall, go to the franchise store. You're looking for 2 for $89? Art and Eyes on Magazine is not for you. But if you want glasses that truly are as unique as you, I mean, you're wearing prescription eyewear. It's on your face, for crying out loud. Don't you want something you like that you're proud to wear, that you think makes you look good, that's the best you can get out of your glasses? Or if you're, man, I want something that disappears on my face, low profile, the opposite of what Corey's talking about. No, they got stuff that's much louder than this, all kind of different shapes. Folks that don't even have prescription, glasses go there for sunglasses, and folks that like to wear glasses just as like a fashion statement. But someone like me that's been wearing prescription glasses for over 40 years, it's a godsend. I only found them about a year ago. I love Art and Eyes on Magazine, the Riverside of Magazine, in between Napoleon and Louisiana. They're even open on Sundays. If you wear prescription glasses or you're looking for a great pair of sunglasses, the best eyewear anywhere, Art and Eyes on Magazine. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. Go check them out if you wear prescription glasses, especially. Thursday afternoon, Corey Johnson with you. Man, if you miss this program every day, you miss a lot. Breaking stuff you get nowhere else, like Rafael Goyeneche the other day mentioning 158 cops leaving the force in the first 11 months of the year. Oliver Thomas. I mean, a lot of folks were critical of the Tiger, outfit with the NOPD. Too aggressive, going over the line. Oliver Thomas, like, let's go even farther with it, or further, excuse me. No, I like getting Oliver Thomas on the program, talking about a lot of stuff with him. Yeah, do we need like guardian angels? Do we need guardian angels? 766-9480. 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines. 766-9480. Of course, that area code 504. No, a ton of stuff to talk about. A ton of stuff to discuss. Insane amount. It doesn't stop. NOPD, next chief. Mayor going to do an appoint anoint type of gimmick. We get a Cedric Grant running the Sewage and Water Board type of appointee. Or is it a righteous appointee? And by the way, Cedric Grant was Mitch Landrieu's appointee. Mayor LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell bringing in a righteous person to run the Sewage and Water Board. Ghassan Corban is actually, someone who's got experience doing that. It's going to be a very interesting next week to 10 days on this NOPD chief deal. 20 plus cars broken into on Lafayette Street, a parking lot during last night's Pelicans game. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. The NOLA OIG is insanely busy. Like you wouldn't believe. I got a couple of letters I'm going to read to you. First, let me throw out a little trivia. It's holiday season, guys. She wants a day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa. She wants to go to the Woodhouse Day Spa. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. That's how you dial up the program. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. Good at all 4 of the area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. A 5th location coming online early next year, Mandeville. Yeah, you're right. That'll be a 2nd North Shore location. They're already in Slidell, I-10 at Gauze. They're in Metairie near North Kenner. They're in Mid-City, New Orleans. They're by the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge. Hey, why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue neutral ground, the median at Toledano, like a block or so past Louisiana? Why is the neutral ground really, it's a huge cut. It's like 50 yards wide there. Concrete all the way across, no grass. Why is it like that at Toledano and St. Charles Avenue? Give me the answer to that. I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate for you. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. 504-766-9480. The Office of Inspector General, a letter to Gilbert Montagna, the CAO, City of New Orleans, a follow-up to evaluation of the City of New Orleans fuel dispensing controls, fuel card abuse. Mr. Montagna, the Office of Inspector General is conducting a follow-up to its evaluation of the City of New Orleans fuel dispensing controls. This is really interesting. The fuel dispensing controls evaluation done by the OIG was released in June of 2016. The purpose of this follow-up evaluation is to determine whether the city improved its fuel dispensing controls to ensure that fuel is dispensed only to authorized personnel using city vehicles or equipment. The evaluation further seeks to determine if the city implemented the corrective actions to which it agreed in June of 2016 in response to the OIG's initial evaluation, and whether the deficiencies identified in the original report still exist. The OIG initiated this evaluation under the authority established talks about the city code through the city of New Orleans. This work will be conducted in accordance with the principles and standards for offices of Inspector General promulgated, by the Association of Inspector General. We would like to schedule an entrance conference on December 15th at your office to discuss the objectives and scope of the evaluation, as well as to answer any of your questions. In this meeting, we will also discuss the expectations during the evaluation process, identifying preferred lines of communication, and discuss relevant and available data related to the objectives. Please confirm, blah, 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 OIG. So the OIG wants to follow up with the city to see if any of the recommendations from 2016 with the fuel card abuse were followed. And then the OIG has a letter directly to the mayor. Enforcement of fines for illegal short-term rentals. Dear Mayor Cantrell, this letter highlights the importance of enforcing the City of New Orleans short-term rental regulations. This letter will also address the potential for the city to collect a significant amount of money from fines for short-term rental violations. The Office of Inspector General's concern with the city's ongoing short-term rental issue is primarily focused on the city's lack of enforcement of its own short-term rental regulations. If implemented effectively, the city's new plan to quadruple the number of city workers dedicated to short-term rental enforcement could vastly increase the number of violations brought up for administrative hearing, deferring illegal short-term rentals. In 2019, the city overhauled the short-term rental rules that appeared in the original 2016 ordinance. The main change allowed short-term rentals to operate in residential areas only if the owner lived on the site and had a homestead exemption to prove that the residence was their primary home. The city also required platforms such as Airbnb to remove illegal listings. The revised ordinance also stated that illegal operating short-term rentals could have their permits revoked. Even with these measures taken by the city, the number of illegal short-term rentals continues to grow. So the OIG, very busy. See, I tell you, it's not always about crime. It's about us getting the most for our dollar. Fuel card abuse. Their folks fill up their car, they go home, they siphon the gas out of the city vehicle into their wife or husband's car. They load up the lawnmower, the cans, the boat. It's insane. The PIN number, so you can identify who's getting the fuel, they're like etched in the pump. Everybody uses a generic, PIN number, things of that nature. Just abuse. And then the short-term rentals, a lot of money could be had with folks breaking the law. Corey Johnson with you.
Recently, Kim Kardashian was seen at Super Discount Store in Chalmette.
Let's party.
Can you think of any other celebrities that won't sue us? Super Discount Store in Chalmette. The lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and cold beer. 3235 Paris Road.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Markets means convenience. Every one of our 65 locations opens at 7 a.m., some at 6:30, and they're open until 10 p.m., with some staying open till 11 or even midnight. Convenience. Rouse's Markets. Tastes like home.
For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockandalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms.
Have a painting project but can't decide on the perfect color? At Helm Paint and Decorating, we offer half-pint paint samples in any Benjamin Moore color for under $5, so you can test potential paint colors before investing in a full gallon.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
There's nothing wrong with a tether or a rope or a chain, I guess, for your dog in the yard, especially like a non-gated yard. But also, it's not any kind of a permanent long-term time solution. It's not hook the dog up to the rope, tether, chain, and you can go away for hours. It's like a short-term thing, 20 minutes, a little while. I don't do it. I have a fenced-in yard. I actually have a fenced-in yard and then added a picket fence down the driveway to extend the yard for the dogs. More space for them. Now, I'm fortunate. I was lucky I can do it. If you're not, you got to be a responsible pet owner, and you can't just chain up the dog and leave for the day. The dog's not an alarm. It's not just a thing. It's not a TV set. It's a living, breathing, real creature. A guy that does the dirty work for us. He's like the offensive lineman. He's not getting the credit or the props like the quarterback, the wide receivers, the running backs, but he's doing all the blocking and making it all work. I'm talking about Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society of Louisiana. You can check him out on Facebook, Humane Society of Louisiana, their Facebook page. Also, their website, humanela.org. Jeff Dorson joins us live on the program. Jeff, first off, thanks for joining us. Second, those photos from Donaldsonville are sickening.
You're referring to these 3 dogs, just what you described, heavy chains in a littered, debris-filled lot, living alone, no interaction, barely alive. And here's the kicker. Probably tens of thousands of people drove by And I like the questions, the rhetorical questions you sometimes ask your listeners. Are you somebody who's going to stop and ask and get involved, or are you going to keep driving?
No,
and luckily,
sadly, a lot of people keep driving, but somebody didn't.
Well, that's what I like about your show. You kind of ask us to take a look at how we're living. What are our choices? That our choices affect other people, other living creatures. Can we be more responsible? Can we be more engaged and active and stop and render aid? Or do we just keep driving? And luckily, one of our members, volunteers, who luckily was a former state trooper, but that doesn't mean anything because anybody could have stopped. But she knew that these dogs were in desperate, miserable state.
Yep. Absolutely terrible.
Terrible.
Just chained up in just a crappy yard, like rocks for a dog bed, water bowl knocked over. I mean, just I can go on and on and on. But I love that the owner was arrested. That loser can get chained up to a pole for a while, go sit in a cage in a kennel, 4 by 6 foot cell, and contemplate their crappy life. And the dogs were seized, Jeff. That's brilliant.
Yeah, well, thanks to Ascension Parish. And here's why. Because the person who stopped to inquire knew enough to read what the laws require. That's important. We can all educate ourselves. What are the 4 elements of the laws that protect animals? Proper food, water, shelter, and vet care. None were present in this situation. All the animals were suffering. You would count every rib. They could barely lift their heads up. They were so weak from starvation, dehydration, parasitic infection. You can't get much worse. So when the cops showed up, she luckily could walk them through. You weren't just seeing 3 dogs in an empty lot. You were seeing a crime scene. So you have to process it like it's a criminal matter. And they did. They took it seriously. They called animal control. They picked them up, and they're now being all treated and loved on at Kare's house, which is a wonderful no-kill shelter in Gonzales or Sorrento. So job well done. And all of us could be that same person who stopped and asked.
You heard what Jeff said: food, water, shelter, and vet care. If you see an animal that the owners just go to work for 8 or 10 hours and there's not proper food out or proper water, or if it's raining or cold, there's no shelter, and the dog looks like it's emaciated or has some kind of health issues, obviously not proper vet care, you can call authorities on that. These folks would be breaking the law. I mean, that's food, water, shelter, and vet care. My God, who would own an animal and not have those 4 things going? Mind blowing.
And the tethering law, there is a vague, kind of underutilized tethering law in Louisiana because the definition isn't well defined.
I think it's like 2-hour time limit or something, which is insanely too long. But isn't it like 2 hours, Jeff?
No, actually not. It's in Orleans and Jefferson. It's actually prohibited as the main way to confine an animal. Statewide, they only use the word inhumane. So
yeah,
you can
that's not
your dog humanely, but nor do they define inhumane. So it's almost unenforceable.
Yeah, that's silly. Too vague.
Unless it's obviously embedded in the neck or something, which we've used, but it's still not a good definition.
Hey, Jeff, this is the kind of stuff you guys handle all the time. You guys take in a lot of dogs. It takes a lot of money to get the dog, nurse the dog back to health. Sometimes it's minor stuff. Sometimes it's major stuff, including surgery and long-term medication and months of foster care before someone can take that dog, adopt that dog or cat. You guys do this all the time. How can folks help out? They can donate money. They can donate their time. They can donate something of value that you can sell and use the money. What do you need?
All the above. Check any of the boxes. They'll all help. They'll all go right to the front line. We don't believe in having a big savings account or an endowment or big salaries because we're like everyday people who want to help. So luckily we've kept that philosophy pure, that the money goes where we said it will go.
Yep.
And so you can count on us.
You know who counts on you? You know who loves you guys?
Must be Blue Boy.
Oh, there he is. What's that, Blue Boy? You love Jeff Dorson and the Humane Society of Louisiana. They are your friends. You're right, buddy. You're right. Jeff, always a pleasure, brother.
Next time, next week. Appreciate you.
Blue Boy's saying humanela.org. Donate a lot right now. humanela.org. 5 o'clock power hour next.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City. Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's founder, Paula Norris Metier.
Our Brain Restoration Plus Detox Treatment is an intravenous nutritional supplement that restores the brain's chemical imbalances. Our patients detox with minimal withdrawal symptoms. It also blocks the craving, which is unbelievable and which is what most people say they have a hard time believing, but it restores neuron function. Many treatment programs use one drug to get you off of another drug. At Springfield, we treat the problem. Addiction is first a brain disease. If you or a loved one suffer from substance abuse, please just give us a call.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Where can you find shish kebab in New Orleans? Lamb, beef, chicken, shrimp, plus all your other Mediterranean favorites. Lebanon's Cafe on the streetcar line. Lunch, dinner, and shish kebab. Lebanon's Cafe.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarm. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about their daily lunch specials like red beans and rice, black-eyed peas, white butter beans, liver and onions. Daily lunch specials. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Hassendampf Incorporated.
Yikes.
We're gonna do it. Give us any
This note from corporate. The Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson has been canceled. Too much truth. We're going to go with an hour of reruns of Laverne and Shirley. That's 2 30-minute episodes. We're going back 44 years for episode number 1, Mischief at the Brewery. And then only 39 years back for episode number 2, coming up at 5:30, Laverne Gets a Haircut. That's coming your way next. Thank you for bailing me out, Mr. Drew Brees. Go to Nick at Night or Me TV or something if you want to check out Laverne and Shirley. Laverne with the big L on all of her clothing. Anyway, no, you're going to get the Neutral Ground, and you're going to get the 5 o'clock Pawa Awa on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for joining us. It's holiday season, for crying out loud. What am I going to get her? What am I going to get her? Is she going to like it? Is she going to like it? You're going to get her a day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, and she's going to love it. It's what she wants, guys. 4 area locations, a 5th coming online early next year, Mandeville. That'll be 2 North Shore locations. Got a few $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates available for you. 50 big bucks at the city's premier day spa. That's a good stocking stuffer gift, or a gift to get you jump started on something bigger and better at the Woodhouse. Why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue Neutral Ground at Toledano? About a block past Louisiana. The Neutral Ground, it's not grass. There's no curb. It's Toledano, but it's like 50 yards wide. It's concrete. The streetcar tracks obviously still go through, but it's not your regular cut in the Neutral Ground. It's like 50, 60 yards long and all concrete, all cement. Why is the cut on St. Charles Avenue in the Neutral Ground so big? Why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue Neutral Ground at Toledano? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks can be yours if the price is right. Now, if you have the answer. It's definitely one of the oldest man-made structures in the United States, and it could be the oldest man-made structure in the United States. I'll give you a hint. It's within 80 miles of the Louisiana Superdome. How about that? Within 80 miles of the French Quarter. Within 80 miles of Canterbury. Within 80 miles of down into Paris, St. Bernard, where life is hard, hard, hard. Within 80 miles of the Best Bank. Definitely one of the oldest man-made structures in the United States. It could be the oldest man-made structure in the United States. within 80 miles of New Orleans? Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse can be yours. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504 766 9480. 766 9480. The world's first movie theater. The world's first movie theater. Give me the answer to that. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. 50 big bucks at the Woodhouse Day Spa can be yours. And a final question, a fourth and final question on this Thursday afternoon. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504 766 9480. 504 766 9480. Ruby, DeCherry, and Scrim. You have any idea what I'm talking about, Jason? Am I speaking a foreign language to you when I say Ruby, DeCherry, and Scrim? Is that meaningless to you? Jason is saying he has no idea. I would be in the same boat as Jason. I just happen to know the answer to the question. Ruby, DeCherry, and Scrim? Question mark. Ruby, DeCherry, and Scrim. Give me the answer to that. And I got a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. If someone has the answer to that, I'm going to be really wanting to know how you know the answer to that. Why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue neutral ground at Toledano? Definitely one of the oldest man-made structures in the United States, maybe the oldest. It's within 80 miles of the Dome. World's first movie theater. Who or what is Ruby, DeCherry, and Scrim? Give me the answer to any of those four questions. I've got 50 big bucks for you. Perfect timing, holiday season at the Woodhouse Day Spa, the city's premier day spa experience. The way to participate in the program, if you're listening on the radio, oh so fine, 93.9 FM. If you're checking us out on television till 5:30, Cox Channel 4 TV, Spectrum Channel 333 TV, all over Louisiana. Maybe you're checking us out via live streaming, CoreyTalks.com, CoreyTalks.com. Maybe you're watching us on YouTube. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Yeah, we picked up a YouTube channel a few months back. You can check us out live on YouTube after the fact. Click to subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing. Corey Johnson Neutral Ground on YouTube. Click to subscribe. Send the link to a friend. We're trying to grow it. Rouse's Markets phone lines 504-766-9480. 5 o'clock power hour on this Thursday afternoon, brought to you by Katie's. Why aren't you at Katie's right now on a Thursday afternoon, a little after 5? It's dinner time. Katie's, indoor or outdoor dining. A mid-city mainstay. Big portions, a true taste of New Orleans. The quintessential New Orleans neighborhood restaurant. Old school New Orleans specialties done right. Katie's restaurant in mid-city, as New Orleans as it gets. 5 o'clock power hour on this Thursday, brought to you by Katie's. The NOPD, the next chief. Will it be done right? A national search, a lot of people involved. Community support. Or will LaToya, the destroyer, who's infamous for first-class airline tickets, first-class dining on the city's dime, staying at the Pontalba apartment that the city owns for free. She's famous for right and wrong and doing the wrong, and then trying to justify the pathetic, childish, petty behavior. No, it's sad. It's weak. Act like an adult. You're the mayor of the city. At least pretend you've been there. Now, will the mayor follow best practices? Will the mayor take what the community has said? like 2 out of 3 New Orleanians. We want the council to approve your appointees and any future mayor appointees. Not a big deal. You put up the righteous appointee, they're going to get passed. You put up some joker, some clown, they might not. I bring up 2 examples. Mitch Landrieu with Cedric Grant, who was like head of sewage and water board under Mitch Landrieu. Under Mark Morial is like head of park and parkways. I mean, just a joke. It's like one of John Hilario's sons. He's been on like 5 state commissions. They're all different. He knows nothing about any of it. But daddy puts his adult kid on these commissions. No, so it's that kind of nonsense and BS. You get the Cedric Grant types, the council's not going to approve it. The appointed, anointed types, hopefully. And then you get the Ghassan Corban. Look at the resume. They're going to approve that. So only if you're trying to put people in that don't deserve it, anointed, appointed types, do you have problems. It's just going to be very interesting to see. This is such a vital position. NOPD chief for the next few years in the city of New Orleans that has a major violent crime problem, like a top 50 violent crime in the world city, in the world. One of the top 50 most violent cities in the world right now. Can't have that. Can't stay in the crime category of Baltimore and Detroit. You can't have that. Got to do better. So this selection is vital. Will the mayor do the righteous thing? Nationwide search, best and brightest? Or will the mayor have her typical agenda and appoint and anoint somebody before the end of the month while she can, quote, get away with it? Corey Johnson with you.
Super discount store in Chalmette.
3235 Paris Road.
The lowest price allowed by Louisiana law on wine, alcohol, and beer.
Worth the drive from anywhere.
If you're throwing a party and need wine, alcohol, and cold beer, super discount store in Chalmette.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Come to Fausto's Italian Bistro. Age-old Italian recipes like the calamari fritti or spaghetti and meatballs. Lunch Monday to Friday, dinner Monday to Saturday. 530 Vets, a block before Dorignax. Fausto's Italian Bistro. For over 30 years, one of the premier security companies in New Orleans and South Louisiana has been Tommy's Lock and Alarms. And right now, Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring. Come and work for one of the best security companies in the region with great pay, great benefits, and a take-home vehicle. Tommy's Lock and Alarms is hiring, and they're looking for you. To apply for one of these coveted positions, go online to tommyslockанdalarms.com. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Custom window treatments can enhance the look and value of your home. At Helm Paint and Decorating, we're proud to offer custom plantation-style window shutters by Scandia. Perfect for any window, including large frames, French doors, sliding doors, and arches. American-made SL300 shutters are available in many colors to match your personal decor. We'll come out to measure, and you'll receive fast delivery. Plus, they're virtually maintenance-free.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you. That Rouse's commercial with the ribeyes and the black iron skillet makes you want to run to Rouse's and grab a couple of ribeyes. And I don't know if I'd do the black iron skillet, that Pittsburgh style, which nothing wrong with that. I just drop some coals and do it outside on the Weber. With weather like this tonight, it might be cold dropping time this evening. You never know. Pretty nice outside. Summer weather in December in New Orleans. Absolutely crazy. Christmas a few weeks away, and we've got summer-type weather, basically. Boy, a ton of stuff going on. NOPD next chief. What will the mayor do? The right thing or the agenda-driven LaToya the Destroyer Cantrell thing? All we can do is wait and see. Seriously, will she do the right thing that's obvious or the wrong thing that's obvious? And there's no denial here, or she doesn't know any better. There's no gray area or confusion. It's either a nationwide search and maybe her person, that she desperately would like to see get the gig, Jonette Williams, maybe she gets the gig. Maybe Fred Magoo gets it out of Baltimore or Brenda Smith out of Sacramento. But a nationwide search where you get the best and the brightest. Why limit yourself? Why do like the Louisiana State Police and their dopey rule or ordinance? We only can hire a superintendent from within the ranks of the Louisiana State Police. Why we do this? Because it's a politically connected BS scam. That's why. Louisiana politics at its worst. No, thank goodness the NOPD not tied down to something limited, restricting like that. It's wide open, can get the best and the brightest. Will the mayor do the right thing where maybe her candidate gets the gig anyway? Or will the mayor pull a little power play gimmick, which she's famous for, these little power trips? I flew first class. I'm eating at Bayona tonight. I'm gonna stay at the Pontalba apartment. Or will the mayor do the right thing that everyone in the city, black, white, Republican, Democrat, old, young, poor, rich, gay, straight, fat, tall, skinny, short, wanted to do? National search. The city has voted north of 60%, but that ordinance doesn't go into effect until January 1st. 20 plus cars broken into a parking lot on Lafayette Street broken into during last night's Pelicans victory. The Pels are red hot. They've won 5 straight, 8 out of their last 10. But you go to a game at the Smoothie King Center down at the Blender and you come outside and your car window could be blown out. It's beyond obnoxious. Do we need like guardian angels like New York City's got in other cities? Some guys and gals wearing beanies, and obviously they're the guardian angels, a little security force, some kind of deterrent. You get 100 or 2 of them, around the Dome Arena, the Sanger, when some event's going down, and I think that would deter a lot of crime. You have them walking up and down Bourbon Street. I think that would deter a lot of crime. We might need like the Guardian Angels, because you can't have a Saints game or a Pelicans game or a concert at the Sanger or the arena, and you come back to your car and you're parked in a legal lot that you paid to park, and it's lit up and car windows are blown out because some loser punk criminals, blew out windows and went through everybody's vehicles. Just obnoxious. Beyond obnoxious. The New Orleans Office of Inspector General is busy. I said this last hour, a blessing. This dysfunctional, broken city, we need a strong Office of Inspector General. Strong, autonomous, apolitical. Ed Michel reminds me of the originator of the New Orleans IG's office, Bob Sarasoli. He was fantastic, not politically connected, built the office from scratch. The office we have today, strong foundation, autonomous. The city government, the mayor, the council can't take money away, can't control their budget. No, thank God for the Office of Inspector General. Now, I talk about this a lot. This Joker AG Crow that represented Slidell for a while in the legislature. He's the Joker that gave you the Naturally Nolans Frank Davis Bridge. So dopey and dumb. So dopey and dumb. Well, you get the Al Duckworth I-10, the Nash Roberts Bridge. Frank Davis Bridge. I like Frank Davis. You name the I-10 bridge after Frank Davis? And then the Naturally Nolans part, just stupid and dopey, something no one says. It was a name of a television segment. People drive into the city and state, they see that, they don't even know what it is. Just stupid, dopey A.G. Crow who does that, but is against an inspector general for the North Shore for St. Tammany. It's only the most affluent, fastest growing parish with a lot of money being spent, taxpayer money, on public projects. You want them scrutinized. You want to make sure that money's being spent right. And then Jefferson Parish has an IG, but it's politically controlled. The council can control the budget, control the IG's office. I'm not going to say the Jefferson Parish IG is worthless, but it's sort of halfway in between St. Tammany not having one and New Orleans having an office that's really solid, that somehow, some way, thank God for Bob Sarasoli, it circumvents the typical New Orleans political crap and gets the job done. When you've got an IG that's effective. Do nothing Denny Harper, the former ID, he was politically connected to politicians, wasn't doing his job. Part of the problem. Ed Michel is like Bob Sarasoli, independent, autonomous, doing his job, strong. No, he sent out a letter to the mayor's CAO, Deputy Mayor Gilbert Montano, about the fuel card. He calls it controls. I say fuel card abuse. References a 2016 Office of Inspector General report, not even his office, the old office, and fuel card, recommendations, streamlining, being able to follow where the money goes, where the fuel goes. He said, hey, we're following up on that. And then he sent a letter to the mayor saying the enforcement of short-term rentals, that ordinance is pathetic in New Orleans. And it's totally being abused. The short-term rental, Airbnb, all that, it's homeowner can have like a back house or it could be a double, and they can Airbnb some unit or piece of property on their main property where they have a homestead exemption, their main house where they live full-time. On that property only, one, you can do an Airbnb with a double or some back house, something like that. That's it. Can't own multiple Airbnbs. Can't be somebody from Pittsburgh coming in, buying up 50 houses and Airbnb-ing them. But there is that going on. There's multiple folks. There's a lot of abuse going on. And the IG is like, man, first off, it's abuse. Second, you're not enforcing anything. Third, you could be making money on fines and all the folks breaking the rules. Anyway, the OIG very busy sending out a couple letters. The consent decree monitors for the sheriff's office, not the NOPD. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's under consent decree as well, that office. The consent decree monitors claim the Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson turning over like 1 in 20 requested documents, like 5% of the documents requested, and then not getting any kind of back and forth communication with the consent decree monitors. These are federal monitors, and Hudson's just blowing them off. A federal judge has ordered Sheriff Susan Hudson to respond to the complaints from the federal consent decree monitors. She is a trip. She really is. Hudson promised weekly reports of jail incidents from the summer, from like July or August. She said she'd start doing that. There have been 5 so far, and all 5 incomplete. A Walgreens shooting in Gentilly, 2 killed, including a 17-year-old girl. Right down the street where Gentilly fades over to Chef Highway, just right down the street. A Dollar Tree, 4 shot. Crazy crime in New Orleans. 20 cars broken into in a parking lot on Lafayette Street that were checking out the Pels last night. You come out of the basketball game, a nice win, and you got to deal with that crap. Not good. Brittney Griner released by Russia in a prisoner swap. Brittney Griner coming home. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Every day, the program on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming, CoreyTalks.com. We're on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify. It's all brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex. And now, Crescent City Ford. Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Are you kidding me? Ronnie Lamarck's got the Lamarck Automotive Complex out by the lake, on the I-10 Williams Boulevard corner, the car corner, right on the corner, right on the price. Number 1 Ford dealership, the big store. Number 1 Lincoln dealership, the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner by the lake. Across the parish, by the river, Ronnie Lamarck scooped up Crescent City Ford, the legendary New Orleans Ford truck dealership. So now you've got the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kenner by the lake, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford in Elmwood, Harahan, Jefferson Highway. Ronnie Lamarck, truly bridging the gap. Every day, this program on radio, on television, live streaming, on YouTube, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, and now Lamarck Crescent City Ford. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. New Orleans City Councilman Oliver Thomas joined us on the program. Also, Jeff Dorson from the Humane Society. He brought up 4 interesting points today, 4 things that you can think about if you've got a neighbor or someone in your neighborhood in the area where you live that you feel is abusing animals. Maybe their dogs are constantly chained up. They don't look healthy. Doesn't look like there's food or water or a doghouse available. There are 4 things that are required, or pet owners are breaking the law. Owners of any animal are breaking the law. Food, water, shelter, and vet care. I'm mind, blown that these actually have to be like discussed and talked about. I mean, food and water, that's obvious. But a lot of pet owners don't bring their pets to the vet. Too cheap and tight. Don't want to spend the money. And if, you can't afford it, then don't get the pet. He'll be all right. He doesn't need heartworm medicine. I've had other dogs before. Just, you're not a good pet owner, If you can't afford the oil change, don't buy the Porsche. I'd love a 911. That's like a car hopefully I'll get one day as a second car. because it's a little low and sports car and can't put the dogs in there. No, but I don't own a 911. You want to know why? Because I can't really afford it. Can't afford the tires. Can't afford the oil change. $800 tire, $500 oil change. So I don't have a 911. One day maybe I'll get one. If you don't want to bring your dog or cat to the vet, but you want to own it, then don't own the. You're not a responsible pet owner. Don't own the pet. If you think the dog is an alarm and you chain him up or leave him in the backyard all day and night, don't own a pet. If you don't give your dog heartworm medicine every month in this part of the country, you're an irresponsible pet owner. Every month, 12 times a year, heartworm medicine. Can't afford it, don't have the pet. Vet care, not once a year, twice a year for checkups. Can't afford the vet, don't have the pet. Can't afford the oil change or the tires, don't get the Porsche. It's pretty simple. Responsible, humane pet ownership. And we all know right and wrong on these situations. Just a bunch of you are tight, cheap, and want to justify your tight, cheap behavior. Nothing worse than tight or cheap. Nothing worse than that. Money is all relative. Someone that's poor, someone that's rich to wealthy. Tight and cheap is relative. It is relative. Someone that can't afford it, that's one thing. Someone that can and just chooses not to do it because they're cheap or tight. My brother and I, we were talking to my mother about tips. My mom's a good tipper, but she's like 20%. She's like, she thinks going over more than that, a little obnoxious. I say, Mom, first off, we're a pain in the rear end. We always sauce on the side, extra crispy, put this there. Can I get the salad on the side? Whatever. So we're high maintenance. Second, we come to these places a lot. These people take care of us. And lastly, $3 or $5 means so much more to them than us. And it's not about we make more money than them. The waiter may make more money than us. It's they're waiting. They're working for us. That tip, $10 instead of $8 means a lot to them. $20 instead of $17 means a lot. And it's $2 or $3 to us. So we then proceeded to tip like 28%. My mom got mad. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. I remember when Oprah had her last like 20 shows. One of them should have been on tipping. Would have been revolutionary for America and restaurants. No, nothing worse than cheap and tight. People try to justify cheap and tight. It is absolutely terrible. Money makes people funny. Money makes people funny. Sad. People that are so money-oriented or cheap or tight or fixated on money, just sad, pathetic folks. Life's too short for that. Hey, speaking of money, good job, good career. Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. Hey, tomorrow when Michael Heck joins us on the program from Greater New Orleans, Inc., that segment's always brought to you by Latrim. A true culture of innovation at Latrim, and they're hiring. For a full listing of positions available, go to latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. L-A-I-T-R-A-M, latrim.com. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. A lot going on. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. 504-766-9480. I've got not one, not two, not three, 4 $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. 4 different trivia questions. Why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue neutral ground? St. Charles at Toledano. Like a block or so, maybe 2 blocks past Louisiana, heading towards downtown. Why is there a large cut in the St. Charles Avenue neutral grounds? All concrete. It's like 50 yards wide right there. Why? Give me the answer to that. I got $50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Definitely one of the oldest man-made structures in the United States. Could be the oldest man-made structure in the United States. It's within 80 miles of the French Quarter, of the Superdome. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 766-9480. World's first movie theater. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. Who or what is Ruby DeCherry and Scrim? Ruby DeCherry and Scrim. Give me the answer to that. I got 50 big bucks for you at the Woodhouse Day Spa. 4 area locations, a 5th, Mandeville, coming online early next year. Rouse's Markets phone line, 766-9480. Rouse's Markets phone lines, 504-766-9480. A lot going on. NOPD next chief. Will the mayor anoint, or will there be a nationwide search, best and brightest? Pels last night, nice victory. They've won 5 straight, 8 of their last 10. You come out of the Smoothie King Center, out of the arena, you go to your car. If you're on Lafayette Street at a, pay-to-park parking lot that's lit up, 20-plus cars broken into, broken windows. Pathetic. The New Orleans Office of Inspector General, very busy, sending a couple of letters out to the mayor's office. The mayor needs to enforce short-term rentals, that ordinance, and fuel card abuse. City of New Orleans employees and the fuel card abuse. Consent decree monitors claim Sheriff Susan Hudson not turning over requested documents. They had to go to a federal judge because of that and a lack of communication from the sheriff. The judge has ordered Hudson to respond to complaints from federal consent decree monitors. Ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, 2 killed, including a 17-year-old girl outside the Walgreens in Gentilly. Down the street by the Dollar Tree, 4 shot today. Crazy. Brittney Griner released from a Russian prison. Prisoner swap. Heading back to the United States as we speak. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, you're right. Fury's open till 9 p.m. tonight, as always. Turtle soup or gumbo to start. Depending on how many people at the table, a small or large order of fresh, made-to-order onion rings. So good. Maybe the best onion rings you'll ever eat are at Fury's. Seriously. And then that local fresh seafood after your gumbo or turtle soup and onion rings. Maybe some speckled trout or flounder or snapper, fresh shrimp or oysters, soft shell crabs or crawfish when in season, only fresh and local, never ever frozen, never ever from out of state or out of the country. They're open till 9 p.m. tonight. You will not be disappointed. Fury's Restaurant in Metairie.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, it's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof, now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anyway. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
For years, you've been hearing about the virtues of Springfield Wellness Center and their successful treatment of over 1,000 individuals who overcame their substance addiction. Now it's your turn. Here's Springfield's Dr. Richard Medier.
For over 20 years, we've successfully treated patients with substance abuse issues and have also had success with patients suffering from chronic stress, depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder. We uniquely address restorative issues at the cellular level that impact mental health. We treat our patients with an intravenous nutritional supplement that helps restore various brain functions. Most of our patients have greatly reduced withdrawal symptoms. We work toward maximizing nutritional interventions while utilizing traditional medication interventions when needed. Our treatment works toward restoring the brain's health while returning the patient to a normal, dependent-free life.
Put your addiction behind you. Call Springfield Wellness Center now, 504-291-2800. That's 291-2800.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top Benchmore exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
When you think of Fury's restaurant in Metairie, you think about the freshest local seafood anywhere. Shrimp, oysters, speckled trout, flounder, snapper, soft shells, crawfish. Fury's restaurant in Metairie.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, the premier day spa experience, is now more convenient than ever. Now open, the Woodhouse Day Spa, Metairie location, West Esplanade at Transcontinental. Metairie and Kenner's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan. For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarms. With high-definition night vision surveillance systems, letting you see what's going on. Home surveillance that's smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
This is what Drew Brees thinks about Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Actually, Brees doesn't think at all about Super Discount Store, but they do have the lowest prices allowed by Louisiana law for beer, alcohol, and wine. Super Discount Store in Chalmette. Super Discount Store!
As New Orleans is catching a sunset on Lake Pontchartrain.
Even the mosquitoes, they sashay through the Nolans air.
Corey Johnson.
Oh, and when they bite you, you don't go, ow. You go, oh.
Yeah, you right. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday. Where New Orleans Talks. Thanks for joining us. Every weekday afternoon, 4 to 6 p.m., 2 big hours, telling it like it is. The NOPD, the next chief, that's a big story. Will the mayor pull her typical gimmick, her agenda-driven nonsense and anoint someone? Or will the mayor do the righteous call? She knows it's the right thing to do, what everybody's clamoring for. National search, bring in the best and the brightest, no agendas. Think what you did with the Sewage and Water Board with Ghassan Corban from Milwaukee, not what Mitch Landrieu did with the Sewage and Water Board. Cedric Grant, an anointed political hack, a clown, a joker. Got to do better than that. So the next week to 10 days, this mayor, this important job, next NOPD chief for the next few years, and crime-ridden New Orleans, no, hyper important. No, the whole mentality in New Orleans is wrong. Just where folks come from outlying parishes, even from out of state, on weekends to do car drifting. They're not going to Jefferson or Plaquemine or St. Bernard or St. Tammany. They're not doing it in Houston or Dallas, but they're doing it in New Orleans because they can get away with it. It's like these jokers on four-wheelers. You know, it's not New Orleans is the city that care forgot. New Orleans is the city that forgot to care. I mean, I know I've said this story from a few weeks ago a few times, but it's just mind-blowing. Paris Avenue in Gentilly, I'm by the Popeyes. I had to pull in the parking lot, not to get some nasty Popeyes. That hasn't been good for 20 years. There's two four-wheelers in the parking lot. A dude sitting on one and an empty one next to him. I'm like, what? So I pulled over and it's like, what's going on? This woman walks out carrying 2 bags of Popeyes. She gets on the other four-wheeler. They beeline out of there. You can go to my Twitter at Corey Johnson and look at the video. I followed them. Out of the Popeyes parking lot, turning right onto Gentilly Boulevard. I'm like, are they getting up on the I-510? Or the I-610 on-ramp right there? They didn't. They continued down Gentilly Boulevard under the I-610, under the train trestle, heading towards Dillard, towards Broad, towards Elysian Fields. Husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, whatever. And they weren't like 18 or 22 or 23. Full-blown adults. No blinkers, no taillights, no license plate, neither one wearing a helmet. Riding all over the roads. Just insane. You can't have that in New Orleans. Can't have the four-wheelers everywhere. That just has to stop. Four-wheelers, illegal to ride in Orleans Parish. Four-wheelers, illegal to ride in Orleans Parish. You got it on a trailer, you're unloading it on your own property, down your driveway, into your garage, that's fine. You better not pull it off your property and ride it around on the street because that's against the law. You will be arrested and your four-wheeler will be seized, never returned to you. We're going to auction it off or sell it. Insane. Just can't have car drifting and four-wheelers. Can't have that. It's like kiddie land around here sometimes. It's obnoxious. Here's obnoxious in a good way. An obnoxious number of Rouse's markets. Over 60 Rouse's. Over 60 years they've been at it. South Louisiana, New Orleans' grocery. Over a third of all Rouse's locations in Metro New Orleans. But that's how Rouse's operates. Number 1 grocery store in Baton Rouge, Rouse's. Lafayette, Rouse's. Lake Charles, Rouse's. How about Biloxi, Gulfport, Rouse's? How about 6 Rouse's locations in Mobile, Alabama? Where's your Rouse's? Best quality, best price, best selection. Tastes like home, Rouse's Markets. There's one in your neighborhood or near your neighborhood. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Brittney Griner released from Russian jail, either back in the United States or en route on a plane, maybe stopping in a European ally country first and then on to the United States. But Brittney Griner is fine, and she is finally freed. About 10 months in captivity since last February in Russian captivity. I mean, I was about to say as bad as it gets. No, I guess there are worse places. That's pretty damn bad, though. Pretty damn bad. Had to be some terrible days and nights of just hopelessness. Like this Whalen guy, 52-year-old former Marine, BS charges, still in Russian custody. Boy, when the weather's like this, Helm Paint and Decorating's there for you. When it rains or it's wet outside, that's when you go to the physical Helm Paint and Decorating location. You pick out your paints, you get all your supplies. They'll take care of you. Everything you need to get the job done right. And then when it's a nice day, that's when you paint. Helm Paint and Decorating, high quality Benjamin Moore products. Paint lines like one I got from Benjamin Moore. I'll never paint my house again. Lifetime warranty. When you got to paint in Metro New Orleans, do it once, do it right. They'll steer you in the right direction. Helm Paint and Decorating.
Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
The city's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa with 4 area locations: New Orleans, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and Metairie. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. NOLA.woodhousespas.com.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For home surveillance, it's Tommy's Lock and Alarm. With smart home technology, control lights, locks, cameras, thermostat, and your alarm, all from your phone or laptop. Smart, safe, secure. Tommy's Lock and Alarms. Google them.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live, we live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralox, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralox technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralox is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port NOLA has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Every day, if you're checking out this program on radio, television, YouTube, we do it from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. AC or heat help, they're there for you. Honest air conditioning and heating experts that come immediately. You know what that means? Honest, incapable of ripping you off. Air conditioning and heating experts. They're not guessing, they're fixing it. And they come immediately because they know you're inconvenienced. Find the pros at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios on radio, on television, on YouTube, live streaming. Yeah, you right. Tomorrow, a Fantasy Friday edition of the program. That's always fun. It's always a nice day to kind of get ready for the weekend, but also kind of exhale. I mean, you think every single day I can do 20 plus cars broken into from the Pelicans game, the OIG letter to the mayor about fuel card abuse, about short-term rental enforcement, the sheriff, Susan Hudson, not giving the feds the documents they're requesting. Wears you out after a while. I need a little Fletcher Mackel, Frank Brights, and Michael Hecht. See you mañana, Fantasy Friday, 93.9 FM, New Orleans, 4 p.m.